All right, 2.2, slope and the rate of change. So the slope. There's many different ways that you've seen slope before, and slope has been classified as rise over run. Slope has also been realized as the change in y over the change in x. And this is the one that you definitely need to make sure you know. It is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's definitely the one that you need to make sure you keep in mind. This is like the change in y over change in x, but you have two variables, y2 and you have x2. Sorry, you have y1 and x1 and y1, and you have x2 and y2. Those are your two variables, and you plug them into the formula in order to figure out what the slope is of your line. And that is the slope formula, what we just saw on the last page. So make sure you have that written down in your notes. You should have seen this before a lot in geometry. You should have also seen this before in Algebra 1, so this shouldn't be a new topic to you. This should be review, but needless to say, the formula does work in order to find, for example, slope is like a hill. Think of slope like a hill. How steep something is the slope of an item. But keep in mind, whenever you are doing the slope, you need 2 points. And this is how we have them labeled. As I stated, x1 and y1, x2 and y2.
Why make trillions when we could make billions?
So to find the slope of these two, this is what I normally tell students to do. First, I would label each of these. Label this one x1 and y1, because remember, each point, each ordered pair is x and y, right? So no problem. But make sure when you're doing this that you label it. And the reason why I'm saying if you label it is you won't get anything confused. This is x1 and y1, this is x2 and y2. So when I plug it into the formula, y2 is 6, so I plug a 6 in there. y1 is 8, so I plug an 8 in there. x2 is 10, so I plug a 10 in there. x1 is 5, so I plug a 5 in there. So when I do this, I have 6 minus 8, which is negative 2, 10 minus 5, which is 5, so negative 2 over 5 is the slope of that line. Now, because it's negative, that means your slope is going down from left to right. All right, if it's positive, that means it's going up from left to right.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
So, taking a look here, the line is going up from left to right, which makes it positive. That makes that a positive line, and there's an example of a positive line because it's going up from left to right. This is a negative slope line, like negative 2x plus 3, because it's going down from left to right. It's going down from left to right.
Ready, beat me up.
These are the two big important things for this section. So you got the slope. You got to remember, obviously, what the slope is. However, take a look at this. We have the difference here, and you need to understand which slope is which. This slope over here is a vertical line going straight up and down. It's x equals something. So like x equals negative 6, x equals 0, x equals 4, x equals 8. When it's x equals something, it is a vertical line, and the slope is undefined. It's undefined, maybe you want to think about it like this, it's undefined because if you leaped off of this, you would just go to a bottomless pit that never ends. It's undefined when it ends. You have no idea when it's going to end. It's vertical. It's straight up and down. However, over here, this has a slope of 0. And all those lines are just y equals a number. So for example, this one is y equals negative 5, or it could be y equals 1, or y equals 6. The point is, it's flat. There's no slope. It's like walking around a cornfield in Nebraska. There's absolutely no slope whatsoever. It's a flat, straight piece of land, meaning since it's a flat, straight piece of land, it's just a 0 slope because there is no slope. So steepness of slope. As the absolute value of the number increases, the slope gets steeper. So what we're trying to tell you there is basically the number itself. If the number itself is bigger, the absolute value of that number is bigger, then that means the slope is going to be steeper. And the absolute value of fractions is not steep. Okay, it's more level. So what that means is the bigger the fraction, as in like 1/8, 1/10, 1/12, and it should actually say smaller the fraction, that it is, the smaller the fraction, the less steep that the fraction will be. So, taking a look here, we're going to find the slope of the first point here. So I labeled it x1, y1, x2, y2. So I got to use my formula to plug it in, and there it is. So to do the first one, it's negative 6 minus negative 4, right, over 1 minus 3. So I can bop those, right, because it's negative. Minus a negative is the same as plus. So I get negative 6 plus 4 over 1 minus 3. So we get negative 2 over negative 2, which is a positive 1. So that slope is 1. Over here, when I do this problem, y2 is 5 minus y1 is negative 1 over 2 minus 2. Well, minus a negative is the same as plus a positive, so it's 5 plus 1 over 2 minus 2, which is 6 over 0. Whenever you have 0 in the denominator, it is classified as being undefined. If you ever have 0 in a denominator, you're going to have something that is undefined. It doesn't work. It's not correct. You can't do it. So it's just something for you to keep in mind when you're doing problems. You have a 0 in the denominator. It is undefined.
Who is better? I go on first and clean the hair. Conditioner is better. I leave the hair silky and smooth. Oh, really, fool? Really?
Alright, so trying this one out now. So we have 7 minus 3 on top and 4 minus 2 on the bottom. So I get 4 over 2, which is 2. Over here I have 5 minus 2 and 4 minus a negative 1, which is plus a positive. So minus a negative, which is 5. So I have 3/5. So which these slopes is steeper? Well, the 2 would be steeper because it's a whole number and this is a fraction, so the 2 would actually be steeper.